Good day, Doctor. We're from Group 6. We'll be presenting our system test documentation, STD. Our group consists of 5 members, which is me, Ko Ziqian, Lao Zhishan, Lin Beiren, Ong Wen, and also Park Su-sin. And here is our table of content. So our STD consists of the test cases and also the traceability metrics. So first we'll start with the login module. This module contains 3 user stories. The first one will be login to the system. So as shown in this sequence diagram over here, there will be an alternative flow. So in the normal scenario, the user will enter a valid email and also password, and the expected result will be successful login, while in the alternative scenario, an invalid email or wrong password is keyed in, as shown in the test data, and the result expected will be an error message. The next user story will be logout, which is a direct flow, and next one will be resetting password. So again, in a normal scenario, the user enters a valid registered email to request for the password reset link, while in the alternative scenario, the user uses an unregistered email address.
Hi Doctor, I'm Linda. Now I will present all the test cases of the change control module. This module covers user story 1 until 5. For user story 1, which is submit change request, 2 test scenarios were designed. So the first is a normal scenario where an employee submit a change request with all mandatory fields filled in. The second is an alternate scenario where mandatory fields are missing. In this case, the system detects the validation fail and prompt the user to complete the required information. Next, the second user story focuses on reviewing submitted change request. In the normal scenario, QA review the request, add review comment, and mark it as reviewable. In the alternate scenario, QA request clarification and the system update the status to clarification required. For user story 3, the test case validate the approval decision by the manager. One scenario covers the approval where the system update the status to approve, trigger the version update workflow, and notify the requester. The other scenario covers rejection where the request is rejected, the decision is recorded, and the requester is informed accordingly. And then the next user story tests the system ability to update and publish a new document version after approval. So we only have one test case in this user story, which is the system generate a new version number, achieve the previous version, publish the outdated document. Finally, the last user story for change control module validate the document history and audit tray viewing. So in the normal scenario, users with appropriate roles like manager or QA can view the document version and audit log. In the alternate scenario, when a document has no change history, the system query display a message indicating that no previous version are available.
I will cover the test case for audit management module, which ensure our internal quality audit are planned, execute, and tracked systematically. This module is built for 4 core user stories. First, plan and schedule audit. Our test verified that QA personnel can successfully create and publish an audit plan. We also test the system response to exception, like a database failure during SAF. And second, execute audit and record finding. We test the primary scenario, where a QA personnel complete a digital checklist, record finding with evidence, and finalize the audit. Alternate scenario includes saving the audit as a draft and handling file upload failure. And third, review and acknowledge finding. Test can validate 2 key managerial action. The first one, acknowledging finding and initiating a CAPA. And the second, disputing a finding where the system correctly enforced the entry of a mandatory reason. And the last use case, generate report. We test the normal flow of generating and downloading a filter audit report as a PDF. A crucial exception test ensure the system display a no record file message instead of an empty report when filter return no data. In summary, our test suite for the audit management module validate the complete audit life cycle from planning and execution to review and reporting, ensuring both normal workflow and robust error handling. This forms a critical part of the system compliance and traceability feature.
Hi, I'm Ewan. So I will explain to you the test case in Kappa subsystems. So there's 3 user stories in these subsystems, which is the create and analyze Kappa, implement Kappa, and verify and close Kappa. And then the first test case is about the sequence diagrams for create and analyze Kappa. So there is 3 scenarios. The first scenario is the normal scenario, which tests the normal create Kappa case and analyze Kappa case submissions. And then the second scenario is the alternate scenario if the QA didn't enter the RCA. So it is an invalid RCA submissions. And then the last one is the scenario for the QA assign an invalid manager for the specific Kappa case. And then for the second test case is for the sequence diagram for implement Kappa. So there is only one scenario in this test case, which is test the normal implementation flow of kappa. And then the last one is the test case for sequence diagram, close and verify kappa. And there is two scenarios in this test case. The first test case is to test the verification successful, which the kappa mark closed. And then the second is the test verifications unsuccessful, which the kappa will be marked for rework needed.
So now I continue with the employee training module. So for this module, have contain 3 different user story, and each of the story covering different scenario to ensure the reliability and completeness. So first, the user story is the managed training matrix. You can see the sequence diagram here. And this user story focuses on how the training requirements are created and managed. So we move to the test case here. In the normal flow, the QA can successfully add the new training requirements for a specific role in department, and whether the system is correct to generate the related training assignment. And next is the alternate scenario to check how the system handles the incomplete input and making sure that the partial data is safe and clear error message as shown. And lastly, we got the accession flow of this to validate the strict field level check and ensuring the invalid data is format triggered to the specific error message. And next we move to the second user story, which is the record completed training and evaluations. And also here is the sequence diagram. So this user story focuses on how the training results are recorded. And in the normal flow, the manager verified the attendance proof, record the post-training evaluations, and confirm the employee competency are updated correctly. In the alternate flow, to test the resubmission process when the training proof is missing or invalid. And next, the accession flow ensures the system prevents saving when the required evaluation fields are incomplete. We move to the last user story, which is the flat training writer. Here also got the sequence diagram of it. So this test case want to test the automated monitoring, test verify the upcoming deadline and refresher training are correctly detected. Notifications are sent through the external alert service, and the manager receives a reminder for the follow-up actions. So for the boundary case, which is the alternate scenario, also test to confirm the system behave correctly when it is not any kind of reminder or the training are due.
So the next module that I'll be handling is the calibration module. So again, there will be 3 user stories. C01 registering a new equipment. In the normal scenario, the unique serial number is used to register a new equipment. The expected result will be success. While in the alternative scenario, the user will register equipment with a duplicated serial number. So the expected result will be an error message of duplicate serial number. The next user story will be viewing a calibration schedule, which is also a very direct flow. And the final one will be recording a calibration result. So again, as shown in the sequence diagram, there will be an alternative flow. In the normal scenario, the user will submit a past calibration result, and the system will automatically update the next due date for calibration. While in the alternative scenario, a failed calibration result is submitted, therefore the system will flag the equipment in maintenance needed. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so now I present the traceability matrix for the change control module in the QMS flow system. So for the change control module, the first user story is submit change request, and it is traced to sequence diagram STCC01, and the related test case are these two, which validate both normal submission and validation fail scenario. And we move to second user story, which is review submitted change request, and it is linked to STCC02 with these two test case. And this test case ensure that the review and clarification workflow are fully tested. And we move to the third user story. So the third user story is approve or reject document change. It's traced to SDCC03 and tested using these two test cases, covering both approval and rejection decision by the manager. And the next user story is update and publish new document version, and it is linked to SDCC04 and validated by this test case, which ensures correct version achieved and published. So finally, the user story is view document history and audit trail. It is traced to SDCC05 with this test case and validating both existing and non-existing document history. So that's all for my change control module part.
So now I will continue with the traceability matrix with the employee training module. So this matrix has shown the requirements are delivered across the Spring 1 and Spring 2 with the clear link between the user story, sequence diagram, test case. So in the Spring 1, the managed training matrix is mapped to the sequence diagram of the user story of the ET01, which is the first user story, and validated by 3 test cases covering the normal, alternate, and exception scenario. This ensures the training requirements and assignments are implemented correctly. And next, we move to the Spring 2. So the Spring 2 covering 2 user story, which is the record computer training and evaluations, and also the flat training reminder. So each of the user stories supported by 3 test cases, including the validations and boundary conditions. And overall, the traceability confirmed that the employee training modules is fully implemented and tested incrementally across the Spring with no functional gaps.